Infernal Blessings. Back with another video. Took a little bit of time off last week. Was dealing with a little sinus issue. I'm feeling a lot better now. So try to get back to putting up a couple videos throughout the week. Some of these short tutorials just to kind of touch on key topics on the left-hand path in the occult. Okay. See the title. What is the purpose of ritual work? It's not just a general question, right? It's a question we all individually should be asking ourselves. And I want to be clear, and not just for those already on the path that do ritual work, just for maybe newer people that stumble across the channel, or newer people that might be interested in the occult and may not understand, like, what's the purpose? Why do we do this? Why do we do ritual work? Why do we work with all these different archetypes, energies, deities, demons, spirits, all these different titles that we have? What's the purpose for doing ritual work? Well, ritual work is the very foundation of your practice. Ritual work is what gets you the results. Okay? Ritual work is what's going to bring about the change that's needed in order for you to obtain the goals, the things you desire, what you're trying to accomplish. That's the whole purpose of doing rituals. Rituals are for personal transformation. Okay? That's why we do it. But we don't just do random ritual stuff with no sense of direction, with no focal point, with no specific intent. We do ritual work that's geared for a particular intent or outcome. Okay? That's what we do. Okay? Just want to make that crystal clear. All right? So we do ritual work with a goal in mind, with a purpose. Now, before you design or create your ritual work, you should have done your thorough research. If you're working with a particular deity, demon, spirit, whatever energy you're working with, you should have done your due diligence, and your ritual should be designed and created for that specific purpose. Okay? I want to make this clear. The ritual is the body of work that I talk about all the time. What work are you putting in? Okay? What work, what body of work, substantial body of work do you have to validate the work that you're putting in? As I've said before, you can read, I don't care how many occult books you read. I don't care how much knowledge you think you have. Okay? And let me make this clear. Having knowledge is not just the ability to regurgitate something. Having knowledge is not just the ability because you memorize something that sounds real deep and heavy, and all of a sudden, because it makes you feel fuzzy and warm inside and all good and deep and like you know something, that doesn't really mean you know shit. You know what really confirms that you know something? When you can take that knowledge and apply it. The application process, guess what? Bing bong, is in the ritual work. That's what I mean when I say, can you apply the knowledge you have learned? Okay? Just because you can sit there and spit a bunch of shit you memorized because you read so many books, yeah, you know, such and such, and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, to the ignorant, it sounds heavy, but to us that really do work, we're like, oh, God, here we go again. Here we go. Captain Deep. Captain Save-A-Ho over here thinks he's going to save the whole world, he or she. Think they got so much knowledge, they're going to save the entire world. Captain Save-A-Ho. Captain Save-A-Ho. No. Can you apply that in your ritual work, what you read and learned? Because knowledge applied is knowledge understood, confirmed, validated. If you're just reading random shit and just spitting it and regurgitating it here and there and whatnot, that just means you memorized a lot of shit. Now, a good practicing magician, sorcerer, occultist, I don't care, and look, there's no specific type of ritual work or path that you need to exclusively belong to. You need to create and design your own type of rituals. Okay? And it doesn't mean, because some people sometimes go to the extreme, it doesn't mean you need to be doing rituals every day, because some people are a little bit fanatical with it. Okay? It just means whatever that consistency pattern is for you. A ritualistic practice could be a consistent daily regular practice. So I just want to make it clear, a ritual doesn't have to be a full-blown ritual in ritual regalia with the whole setup. That's one aspect or one perspective or concept of doing a ritual, most definitely. A ritual can just be getting up every day and doing a few minutes meditation. See, the consistency factor too checks in with your rituals, okay? So if you're not consistent overall in your practice, then more than likely you ain't getting no goddamn results, okay? So we're not on this path just for the fuck of it. And I would hope most of you feel the same way. I know I'm not on this path just for the fuck of it. I'm on this path because I saw the ability of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding you can gain and how you can grow. That's why I'm on this path. That's what got my interest first and foremost, because where I came from and everything I had been through up until that point just wasn't giving me all the damn answers. I just felt like there was more. And knowledge itself is priority number one. Okay? I don't want to hear nothing. I don't want to be a part of anything that's giving me pie in the sky later, or has me focusing on a sky daddy somewhere out there, or some spooky force, some old man god that's sitting up there somewhere in the clouds with a long white beard. And, at some point I'll be up there, this, that, and yeah. I don't want the pie in the sky no more. Okay? How are you going to break these illusionary aspects that you've been indoctrinated with since a small child? Through your ritual work. Okay? That's how. Through your consistent daily practices of meditation, simple invocations, whatever it may be. Those are all forms of ritual. Understand the different forms of ritual. Ritual is just not some long planned out regalia or some glorious big extravaganza. It doesn't always have to be that. It is sometimes, as I said a minute ago, it is, but that's not. I want you guys to understand what encompasses what ritual is at a whole. It could be something that's done in a couple of minutes, or it could be something very in-depth and detailed that could take an hour or more. It's all ritual, and it's all for the purpose of personal transformation itself. Okay? Now, I do want to shift gears real quick. I want you to understand, too, there's a difference between when you're doing personal ritual work and group ritual work. And as I've said over the years, off and on in many different classes and videos, I know some people don't really vibe 100% with the whole group thing, and that's okay. But I would tell each individual, to a certain degree, you should experience both. I'm not saying if it's not for you, it's not for you, but you should experience a little bit of the group aspect, just so you can understand, see, and feel there is a difference. There is a difference in how it's done, how it functions, and the whole concept of how individuals must come together in a group to accomplish the goal, but as a group. And I do that every month with those of you who are on Patreon with me, right? Even though we're doing a monthly group ritual, but the rituals are designed, it's all for the certain, and I haven't been on in a while. I'll make sure I give you guys real quick, before I forget, I haven't even run through the introductions. And I'll give it at the end again. But again, the classes, if what I'm talking about, a lot of the stuff, go on to the Patreon page, patreon.com/Baniti, BANITI, tier 3. That's the tier you want to join. That'll give you access to the 3 private classes that I do every month on Patreon, for Patreon members only, and the group ritual that I'm about to get into in a second. Also, if you're interested in a spiritual reading or a consultation, shoot me an email, and I will set up I'll send you information on how to book a reading or a consultation. Just want to throw that out there. I'll run through this again at the end. The 7th annual Journey of the Black Addict Conference. Look out for that, October 24. As we get into next year, we'll address that a little bit more. But back to the group ritual. And as I said, for those of you who are members on Patreon, it's a ritual designed to be done as a group every month, but with the focal point on a common goal. But each individual is going to have their own unique experience individually within that collective group ritual. So it's a little bit different, right? There's other parameters that govern a group ritual. It's important everybody come in the right frame of mind, right? You don't want nobody coming up in a fucked up state of mind, because that can fuck up the energy in the ritual as a whole, right? So there's some other key factors. You want to make sure, even solo or group, you never want to go to do ritual work with an excess amount of food in your system, because one, it's going to fuck with your focus, your concentration. You can get sleepy, you can get tired, and it's going to be hard for you to focus, okay? So that's important. Excuse me. So, but the group ritual as opposed to an individual ritual, there's just a lot more energy that needs to be in alignment and focus, and everybody needs to be on the same page. And it's a different vibration. It's a different energy. Group rituals, especially when the energy is right and everybody's focused and their personal energy is right, it can be very powerful. It can be a lot of power that you generate in those rituals, especially when you're doing mantras and chanting and this, that, and the other. Okay? So, again, I would encourage every practitioner to experience some level of group ritual work. Okay? Obviously, your personal work, your solo work is obviously your most important. That's something you're going to be there doing consistently. Don't get me wrong, 100%. That's your most critical key. But again, I would encourage everybody to experience some level of group ritual work. Very important. Okay? Very important. All right? So we don't just do rituals, just to be doing them shits. We don't do that. Okay? We're not on this path just for the sake of being on this damn path. Right? We're not just here because we think this is an escapism or an escape route from reality and dealing with real life shit. It's actually the reverse. We're here because we know that this is going to provide us a lot of answers and solutions to the many questions that we have about life, about our existence, about our purpose here, why we're here, where we're going, and what's going to happen to us after we make our final physical transition into the spirit world. Okay? Or we give up that our last physical breath and make that spiritual transition, I should say. Right? These are the questions that fuel us, that drive us, that give us that spark, that fire of why we want to be on this path. And ritual gives you a deeper understanding to that. When you're working with archetypes, demons, and spirits of the underworld, the void, the abyss, the spirit, the different spiritual abodes or realms, whatever terminology you want to give it, it gives you a greater understanding of, quote unquote, what people call the afterlife. Okay? A lot of ritual work is centered around the understanding of that on many different levels. Ritual work, all just to some shape, form, fashion, or degree, as I said before, has some level or form of shadow work involved in it. It's unavoidable. Every ritual you do is always about improving yourself. And that's what shadow work is, improving yourself to the best of your ability, to the best that you can be, working on your weaknesses, turning your weaknesses into strength. A lot of your ritual work is created and designed from what comes up via your shadow work or your hidden self. Because a lot of work is carried out to uncover the shadow or the hidden self for a greater understanding of who and what you are. Okay? So my point in the picture that I'm trying to paint, you should never be unclear on what direction you're going in to create ritual work. Okay, what you study, the knowledge you acquire. This is the difference, as I said, people who read and just regurgitate shit, and people who study. People who study really learn things about themselves, right? That should be one of your motivational forces to study, not to feed your ego so you can go pop off at the mouth and sound heavy and deep in front of a crowd of people. But we got a lot of that shit today. We got a lot of ego fests going on today, where everybody wants to, look deep and look heavy or look like they know something that somebody else don't know. And as I said before, look, I've been around a long time. I've been doing this thing for a long time. I've heard them all. Okay, I've heard every wannabe heavy that you can think of, male and female. And we just ain't got time for that no more. We see what's going on out here. We see how things are changing. We see the work that we need to do. We ain't got time to entertain bullshit no more. So, ask yourself, be honest, evaluate, let's say the last 6 months to a year, what kind of ritual work have you been doing? And really look at it and go, is this really geared towards things I got going on about myself that I really need to work on, that's critical, that's important, right? You gotta ask yourself all these questions. Or am I just been doing just random ritual work for stupid, pointless shit? Rather than working on things I need to improve about myself, I'm focused on a bunch of nonsense and bullshit. You understand? You gotta ask yourself that. So look at the body of work. And hopefully there is. Let's also throw that shit out there. Let's hope there is a body of work, because one of the most annoying things to me is a person who will reach out to me to set up a consultation or this, that, and the other, to talk about how they're struggling and they've hit a block and they don't know what to do, nothing's working. And unfortunately, 9 out of 10 times I already know where that conversation's headed. And I say, okay. And then I get on that conversation with them, with whatever, and we're talking, and they're telling me, I'm trying to do this. Got a lot of good ideas. I'm trying to do this, and I'm trying to accomplish that, and this is my goal, this, that, and the other, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, all right, cool. So what's the problem? Well, nothing's happening. Then here's the kicker. Well, what have you been doing? Well, I did this one, and they come with such a small amount of ritual work they've done, and they're puzzled. They're so baffled they can't understand why nothing's changing for them. Again, people, without consistency, there is no body of work. Without no body of work, there is no results. Okay? You can't think, because you're not getting results, that you're going to go somewhere or to somebody and they're magically just going to poof, snap their fingers. And then there's some people who think somebody else can do it for them. And that's just not true. That's just not true. It doesn't work like that. Okay? So before you start saying to yourself, nothing's working, why is this not happening, this, that, and the other, and you haven't really done shit, just check that first. Now, don't get me wrong. There's cases where there are people putting in the work. There are people who have a body of work or they've been consistent, at least at putting some type of work in or out there, okay? And they may not be getting any results. That could be something of a deeper matter that needs to be looked into. Okay, that can happen. There could be other issues at play there that need to be looked at, okay? So all of these things have to be considered. And I would tell you, make sure, first and foremost, your ritual work is designed around your needs first, because that's another telltale sign why people don't get results. They're just working on wants. I want this. I want. But they got other shit going on they need to be working on about themselves. Personal problems, emotional problems, mental instability, this, that, and the other. And they're doing they're doing ritual work for an expensive car, or they're doing love magic because their energy is more centered and focused on trying to get somebody back that don't want them, as opposed to improving their life. So they're wasting all their time, energy, and sometimes money trying to get somebody back that does not want you. Okay? I think that's going to be my video tomorrow. Why I prefer not to do love magic work. Okay? I just don't, it's hard for me to fathom why somebody would work so hard to want to get somebody back that doesn't want them. And sometimes the results are not happening in your ritual work because of things like that, where your focus is. Okay? And that's one of the challenging things about this path. Can you block out the distractions? Can you be honest with yourself and admit what you got going on in your life and around you that's creating those distractions? And are you disciplined enough to deal with it? See, there's a lot of people out there that don't really understand what this path is about. Because we got ignorant ass people out here who just have such a bullshit understanding of the occult and the left-hand path. And let me give you an idea. You have the kooks and the crazies that think we literally walk around all day wearing black robes, saying Hail Satan, and we're doing animal and blood sacrifices. Or you have the other idiots who have no clue what the occult and the left-hand path is about. And they think, oh, it's all about self-indulgence, and it's all about the ego and putting it, and it's not. It's the complete opposite. Okay? See, when they hear terms like apotheosis, self-mastery, they those that don't know, they misinterpret that, and they put their twist on it. As I said in a previous video, that's just like me. Even though I go in hard on religion, and I might go in hard on Christianity and the foolishness with it, but I make it clear, I'm not saying this applies to, it'd be wrong for me to label every single Christian, Muslim, or Jew in their category. I'm just talking to the fanatical ones. Okay, that applies. And I'm not saying there's not a bunch of nutbags on the occult and the left-hand path, because there is. But that's every walk of life. It could be the occult, left-hand path. It could be Islam, Christianity, Judaism. It could be your damn job. It could be on your sports team you play on. There's always a bunch of nutbags in all circles, in all aspects of life. It transcends beyond whatever your spiritual path is. Okay? I'm not sitting up here and by all means saying everybody that claims to be on the path of the occult or the left-hand path or this, that, or the other is legit. I'd be a fool to say that. But also on the flip note, don't try to put everybody in that box or category is what I am saying. Because I don't do it. Even though I might go in and really break down other systems of spirituality, I never ever once would ever say that applies to every single person. Because it doesn't. Okay? It doesn't. But we got to get our priorities right. Okay? And that's step one to designing the right ritual work. Okay? So we don't just do rituals for the fuck of it. We do rituals for personal transformation and growth. What do you think, for an example, going to church every week is? What do you think going to Mass every week is in the Catholic Church? That's a ritual, people. And through the repetition of that consistent ritualistic practice, people get growth from it. Okay? You may not be getting any real new information, but people might have personal experiences in the ritual practice of it. Okay? I mean, come on, man. We got to use our head here. We really do. We got to be practical and real with ourselves. If you want change, if you really want change, needed change, then you must be willing to sacrifice certain things about yourself. You can't want change, but yet you're going to remain the same and not do anything for that change. That doesn't work. Okay, and I've talked about that a multitude of times. All right. So anyway, without keep beating a dead horse, you get the point. No, we don't just do rituals just to be doing rituals. Everything I just described is the purpose of why we do ritual work. Okay? So that's the purpose for doing rituals on the path of the occult, the left-hand path, etc. All right? So real quick, as I am almost at my destination, and it is now with this clock shit, I can't keep up with this clock shit going back, going forward, going sideways. It throws me off because I don't pay attention to none of this shit. But as you can see, we are approaching that winter solstice, and it is getting now darker earlier in the evening. It is just before 6 o'clock, and it's pretty much dark now due to that time change. All right, but let me run through again some of the announcements that I did not run through thoroughly in the beginning of the video, because it's been a little bit over a week since I've done one of these. Again, if you need to reach out to me for a spiritual consultation or a spiritual reading, I offer various different ones: telepathic demonic readings, Santa Muerte readings, Egyptian oracle readings, shadow work readings, deity readings. If you're interested in booking a spiritual reading or a consultation, shoot me an email, khnum19@gmail.com. Also, if you want to sign up for the classes that I do offer, I offer 3 private classes every month on Patreon at patreon.com/Baniti, Baniti. That's patreon.com/Baniti, Baniti. Tier 3 is the tier you want to join. That will give you access to the 3 private classes I do every month, in addition to the group ritual. I know I might have said them in the beginning, couldn't remember. I was focusing on driving, but ain't gonna hurt to throw them out there again. Also, keep in mind, all of this new content is being uploaded to the Primordial Chaos podcast, which can be found on Spotify and all major podcast platforms. So now you can listen to the content driving, walking, exercising, just chilling around the house, whatever it might be. So check out the podcast. And again, 7th annual Journey of the Black Adept coming October 2024. More information later down the road as we get into 2024. So this year winding down, as you know, this will be the last month I do Patreon classes. I will have one end of the year class, something I haven't really done in December. It'll just be one. And then I kind of lay low throughout the holidays until right after New Year's. All right. So everything that I just described, all the contact information, the direct link to the Patreon page to sign up for classes, the direct link to the podcast, my contact email, all of that is in the description box of this video you're watching right now. So if you need to get at me, that's how you do it. Other than that, I will talk to you guys on the next video. Burn of blessings. We'll talk soon.